The digital shrapnel from my assault on Falke surveillance and propaganda networks continued to rain down on the mainland, a constant, irritating static beneath the regime's forced calm. From the chilling serenity of the bunker beneath the altar, I observed the chaos I had meticulously engineered. The subliminal tones, once a seamless current of compliance, now flickered with discordant glitches. Public information screens sporadically displayed static or distorted images. The ripple effect of the serpent's coil was palpable. The subtle shift in the city's rhythm, a flicker of bewildered unease in the eyes of the populace, a nagging paranoia within the regime itself. Falke's response was as predictable as it was desperate. No grand pronouncements, no public admissions of vulnerability. Instead, a tightening of the unseen news. His regime, stung by the phantom attacks on its very nervous system, launched a silent, insidious counteroffensive. This wasn't about conventional warfare, it was about rooting out an unseen enemy, a ghost in the machine. Intelligence indicated an immediate, system-wide increase in surveillance, not just to monitor the populace, but to actively hunt for anomalies in digital and human behavior. Psychological profiling units, usually reserved for identifying dissidents, were now tasked with analyzing patterns within the disruptions themselves, attempting to discern the mind behind the chaos. Master, Falke's Internal Security Bureau has initiated Operation Blind Spot Cleanse. Nadine reported, her avatar glowing faintly on the console. Their objective, to identify and neutralize any anomalous digital or human signatures within sectors affected by recent propaganda and surveillance disruptions. They are prioritizing areas that showed highest rates of system degradation during your previous attack. In Project Chimera, I asked, my gaze fixed on the overlay of surveillance patterns that Nadine projected. Their pursuit of Nadine, and now of me, would only intensify. Project Chimera's activity has escalated. They're deploying new, high-frequency spectral analyzers attempting to pinpoint residual energy signatures from your previous digital incursions. They have also initiated deep packet inspection protocols on all outbound mainland data. Their focus remains on identifying your operational signature. A cold, precise exhilaration surged through me. They were reacting. They were burning resources, diverting attention, confirming the efficacy of my previous moves. This was the true measure of a king, not just power, but the ability to provoke, to manipulate, to force the enemy into reacting on your terms. My objective was not merely to survive in this dying world, but to command its decay, to orchestrate its inevitable collapse and rise from its ashes. My next move would be a deeper thrust into Falke's control, leveraging the very chaos he sought to suppress. The static veil was not just a symbol of his crumbling authority, it was a distraction, a perfect cover for a new, audacious gambit. I plan to infiltrate a critical data exchange hub within Falke's central administration, a place known as the Conduit Nexus, which controlled the flow of all official information, including key directives and personnel assignments, effectively dictating the operational directives of the entire regime. If I could corrupt this, the chaos would become systemic. My chosen infiltration point was a forgotten service tunnel, branching off from the deepest levels of the underground abandoned rail systems, leading directly into the Nexus's sublevels. This required intricate navigation, bypassing layers of automated security systems and human patrols now on high alert. My father, Malachi Persona, would serve as my ultimate alibi, my presence on the surface maintaining the illusion of a pious, unthreatening figure, while my true self, the Lord of Solitude, orchestrated events from the shadows. Vargo, prepare teams for insertion into the old Metro Line 7. Secure the terminus near the Presidential Archives. Establish a temporary comms relay. I instructed my most trusted lieutenant on the mainland, his voice a distant, crackling ascent through the secure line. The logistical complexity of moving personnel and equipment unseen beneath a city choked by paranoia was immense, yet utterly routine to my network. The journey through the underground abandoned rail systems was a descent into the forgotten arteries of the mainland's decay. The air grew heavier, thick with the scent of damp earth and the metallic tang of ancient rust. Every creak of the aging timbers, every drip of unseen water from the ceiling, echoed the deep structural rot of Falke's regime. My senses, sharpened by years of navigating such shadowed spaces, absorbed every detail. The subtle drafts indicating hidden vents, the faint hum of power conduits above, the chilling silence that spoke of undisturbed decay. This was my domain, a world unseen by the masses, the true foundation of my power. As we neared the conduit nexus, the security became palpable, a low thrumming in the very air. Falky's counteroffensive, Operation Blind Spot Cleanse, had indeed intensified patrols. Armored patrols with thermal vision swept the known access points, their presence a stark reminder of the regime's heightened paranoia. This was precisely what I intended. Their increased focus on external threats, on visible movements, left them blind to the insidious infiltration from within. My target within the Nexus was not to destroy data, but to inject it. Specifically, a series of fabricated directives and personnel reassignments designed to sow deep distrust and misdirection within Falky's highest echelons. I wanted them to eat themselves, to devolve into a spiraling vortex of suspicion and internal conflict. With Vargo's team acting as a diversion, drawing attention to a false breach point further down the tunnel, I proceeded with a lone operative, a ghost in the vast subterranean network. Our objective, to access a specific, isolated server room within the Nexus's deepest levels, a room that served as a central repository for the regime's classified organizational charts and operational command sequences. The penetration was a symphony of precision. Automated laser grids were bypassed with discrete frequency emitters. Biometric locks, updated after my previous incursion, were circumvented using captured and replicated data provided by Nadine. Each step was a calculated risk, a testament to my unwavering belief in the infallibility of my planning and Nadine's digital prowess. Entering the server room, the air hummed with the cold, sterile breath of thousands of processors. This was the brain of Falky's bureaucratic beast, its neural pathways alive with the very information that governed the mainland's oppression. I connected my portable interface directly into the Nexus's mainframe, a hardwired bypass of external firewalls. Nadine, initiate data injection protocol. Target internal transfer logs for Director Thorne's past financial activities. Reroute the data through the accounts of 3 high-ranking officials in the Internal Security Bureau. Fabricate a complex shell corporation structure linking them to the Iron Brotherhood's recent losses. Ensure it appears as a retaliatory action from the Brotherhood itself, seeking to implicate specific individuals within the regime. I dictated, my voice low, utterly devoid of emotion. This is the core of the psychological warfare I waged, not merely to disrupt, but to poison their very wellspring of trust. The internal security officials, already on edge from the blind spot cleanse and the phantom attacks, would find themselves ensnared in a web of fabricated evidence, linking them directly to the recent losses suffered by the Iron Brotherhood, losses I had orchestrated. This would ignite a devastating internal purge, consuming Falky's resources and attention for weeks. Nadine's execution was flawless. The data flowed, silent and invisible, twisting the truth, building a narrative of internal corruption and deep-seated betrayal. The speed and precision of her work were astonishing, a constant reminder of her indispensability, her value far surpassing any mere asset. She was the other half of my strategic genius, the unblinking eye that saw all, the tireless hand that sculpted reality. As we withdrew, leaving no trace, I felt the familiar, chilling satisfaction that only absolute control could provide. The chaos I would unleash would be systemic, far more damaging than any external assault. Falky, the master manipulator, would find himself caught in a feedback loop of his own making, his paranoia amplified, turning his regime against itself. His reliance on central control systems, on the predictable venality of his officials, was his ultimate vulnerability. The fallout was swift. Within hours, Nadine's intercepted communications revealed a new wave of internal investigations within Falky's Internal Security Bureau. Accusations flew, officials were detained, and the machinery of state control began to grind to a halt under the weight of its own self-inflicted wounds. The static veil I had cast over the mainland was not merely a disruption, it was a psychological weapon, eroding the foundations of Falky's power from within. Project Chimera's frantic attempts to stabilize the networks were now further complicated by the internal turmoil within the regime. Their efforts were fractured, their resources diverted to supporting Falky's internal purges. Their pursuit of Nadine, while still a priority, was now tangled in the intricate web of my deception. Their targets shifting, their efforts diluted. The psychological impact on me was one of a cold, calculating triumph. The sheer audacity of manipulating an entire regime from a bunker beneath the altar was exhilarating. I was not merely a criminal, I was the ultimate architect of chaos, the Phantom King who pulled the strings of this dying world. The scent of rust and decay that permeated the underground abandoned rail systems was a testament to the fragility of their empire. The game was escalating, yes, but I was playing it on my terms. With Falky dancing to a tune I had orchestrated from the shadows. The next phase would not involve just dismantling his power, but replacing it, piece by brutal piece.